Not my daughter, you bitch!
That's probably the most popular insult against women. And while men use those words as well, women do it just as often, but against each other.
Are we the baddies?
Because sometimes we can be each other's worst enemies. The most recent example for this is Blake Lively. She went from a likable celebrity to the bitch of Hollywood. It started with her weirdly cheerful promotion of It Ends With Us as a great movie for a girls' night out, even though it was actually about domestic violence.
It Ends With Us is in theaters now, so grab your friends, wear your florals, and head out to see it.
Grab your striped pajamas because you're not going to want to miss this. Bring your oxygen tanks because this movie is going to take your breath away. Grab your friends and get all dolled up.
Meanwhile, her co-star and known feminist Justin Baldoni emphasized this dark topic and the importance of women's rights in his interviews. But the two never appeared together in public, which was apparently her fault. Blake supposedly had it in for him. She wanted to take over the movie and turned everyone on set against him. At least that's the story that went viral on social media, where lots of women pledged their support for Baldoni. And by the time this made headlines on celebrity gossip sites, Blake's reputation was destroyed. And that could have been the end of it, until she dropped the bombshell.
Anyway, there's nothing you or I can do to bring them back now.
He has risen, baby girl.
Fuck!
And I don't want the world to see me, 'cause I don't think that they'd understand.
She sued Baldoni for sexual misconduct and inappropriate behavior on the set of It Ends With Us. And even more. Now, just to be clear, I can't possibly know what happened or who did or didn't do what. This is still going on, and Justin Baldoni made some counter allegations. So this video isn't about taking sides or pointing fingers or accusing someone. That's not my point. My point is how terribly the public reacted to all of this. Because according to Blake, Baldoni caused her downfall, and with a plan that sounded like something straight out of a spy movie. Baldoni allegedly hired 2 PR specialists, and what's even more important, 2 female PR specialists. And these 2 ladies knew exactly which buttons to press. Because how do you hurt a woman's reputation the most? You make her unlikable, especially to other women. Because interestingly, they didn't accuse Blake of anything outright terrible or illegal. They simply branded her as not nice. And apparently they fed social media with comments repeating this narrative over and over again, until it took a life of its own. Suddenly real users repeated this stuff. They posted clips of her It Ends With Us interviews, or dug up old rumors about her being a diva.
People feel like they know you. And what's interesting, especially in this era with social media and blogs, is that there's such a desire to know everything about someone. And if they don't know everything about you, they just make it up.
Whether true or not, it was everywhere.
Mission accomplished.
And I have to admit, it also worked on me, because I started feeling annoyed whenever her name came up, without any real reason. And in one of their texts, Baldoni's teammates wrote, "It's actually sad, because it shows there are people who want to hate women." And that is exactly it. Because what Blake was accused of is something we've seen male stars do time and time again. Christian Bale's infamous on-set tantrum on the set of Terminator Salvation is almost legendary today.
I want you off the fucking set, you prick!
Sorry.
No, don't just be sorry. Think for 1 fucking second. The fuck are you doing?
But this never hurt his career. In Blake's case, rumors were enough to hurt her image. Whenever Cillian Murphy gives an interview, he's basically the resting bitch face personified and seems pretty unenthusiastic. And people even find it funny. But when Blake gives a less than friendly response, she's called bitchy. And by the way, this isn't criticism of these great actors, but it shows the glaring double standard. As a woman, Blake simply can't afford to be seen as not nice. And even after the details of her lawsuit became public, many stuck to their opinions, simply stating, "I still don't like her." And they also kept asking the same questions, like, why did she promote the movie so superficially? No one forced her to give those ridiculously cheerful answers. And I agree. Some argue that she may have been forced to do so by the studio, but even if not, At worst, it was just silly or dumb, nothing more. Or why did she, as a rich and successful celebrity, let Baldoni treat her so badly? Because it can happen to any woman. Haven't we learned by now that wealth, fame or power don't protect against harassment? And of course, there's the classic. Why is she only speaking out now? This question basically oozes pure victim blaming. Why didn't you fight back? Why are you only coming forward now? Why didn't you just say no? So much for believe all women, even though I actually don't like that statement. Because there are always some women, even if it's only one, who do lie and destroy every credibility for true survivors. Because this whole idea of women supporting each other is still something we have to work on. And I'm very much including myself. But apparently, I'm not the only one. Sydney Sweeney recently slammed the fake female empowerment in Hollywood after a female producer criticized her saying, "I don't get Sydney Sweeney. Explain this girl to me. She's not pretty, she can't act. Why is she so hot?" Ugh. In an interview with Vanity Fair, Sydney said, "This entire industry, all people say is women empowering other women. None of it is happening. All of it is fake. And the front for all the other shit they say behind everyone's back." She called it a generational problem to believe only one woman can be at the top. There's one woman who can get the man. There's one woman who can have it all. So then all the others feel like they have to fight each other or take that one woman down. That's not to say there aren't any real friendships among women in Hollywood.
But I can understand what she feels, because when you're young and you're starting out and everybody puts you in competition with each other, but I will tell her that this is 30 years of friendship right here, and it's real, and you can find it in show business if you look.
But this problem runs pretty damn deep, and it isn't only about celebrities, because often we don't even realize we're doing this.
Katie, she's not pretty. I mean, that sounds bad, but whatever. The spring fling queen is always pretty. I mean, the crazy thing is that it should be Karen, but people forget about her because she's such a slut. Anyway, I gotta go. I'm going to bed.
And I admit, I catch myself judging other women, being jealous of their success, their looks, the attention they get, and it's ridiculous. I try to remind myself to be happy for other women, or at least to not compare myself to them. But I have no idea why I actually do this, and if it's just society, insecurity, or even conditioning. Whatever it is, it's an uncomfortable truth to face that sometimes women are each other's worst enemies. And that can have real consequences that go far beyond gossiping. I mean, the political climate is already threatening women's rights. And while this has never been different in lots of parts of the world, it's again the case in the West. And with roaring applause on social media. It's more important than ever that we stick together. But while some male idiots are trying to force their insane views on us, some women help to fuel the fire. Like a lot of US women didn't vote for Kamala Harris, but gave their vote to Donald Trump, which was their right. And I'm not saying Harris was the best candidate ever, or that women have to vote for women. It's that many voted explicitly against the female candidate.
Can a woman be president?
The presidency is a man's job. A female has more hormones. She could start a war in 10 seconds. If she has hot flashes, whatever, boom.
Haven't all wars been started by men?
There have always been women who are against women. I mean, there were women who fought against women's right to vote.
Frauen in der Politik, meine lieben Damen, ist schlichtweg gegen die göttliche Ordnung.
Nein, ich bin nämlich fürs Frauenstimmrecht.
Zum Glück ist Ihre Meinung nicht ausschlaggebend.
And there still are some who want to go back to this supposedly better time, because some of them consider themselves different or better than other women. They're one of the good ones. And not to jump headfirst into this debate, but there's no better example than The Only Moral Abortion is My Abortion. It's a 25 years old collection of real-life anecdotes from Europe and the US, where abortion doctors told their stories of treating anti-choice patients who then went right back to protesting outside. Because with some mental gymnastics, They rationalized that their abortion was different. They just made a mistake, so they had to have an abortion, while other women are just sluts.
There are worse things I could do than go with a boy or two.
Now, one could argue that I, in the name of solidarity, should also accept the opinions of these women. The difference is that I don't deny them anything. They don't have to vote. They don't have to have an abortion. They don't have to have a career other than being a housewife. But they deny other women that choice. And instead, they actively work against their own interests. It's a bit like in The Handmaid's Tale, where a woman helped to form a society where Christian fundamentalists have taken over the US and abolished all women's rights. Serena Joy doesn't even flinch when women have to serve as baby machines. Quite literally, until she realizes that she has no control or power whatsoever, because at the end of the day, she's also only a woman. This is of course only fiction, but there are parts of the world where this is a reality. Things can change very quickly, and we don't need more enemies coming from our own ranks. Sometimes women, hopefully, do this nonsense just for money, like Hannah Pearl Davis, a grifter who made it her whole personality to basically piss people off.
You're telling me that a guy that has women throwing themselves at him 24/7 had to rape somebody? That doesn't make sense to me. Look at the homeless. Most of them come from single mother homes. You look at school shooters. Most of them come from single mother homes. You look at criminals, rapists. Most of them come from single mother homes. So yeah, I would say most problems in society come from women.
Right, Pearl, you'd be called the female Andrew Tate. How do you plead?
Well, I take it as a compliment. You know, I'm a fan of Andrew Tate.
Shut the fuck up. Shut all the way the fuck up until you reach the top of Shut Fuck Mountain, where there are no more fuck-ups to shut.
But it can get worse. Smallville actress Alison Mack held a high position in the Nexium cult, branding women with her initials and forcing them into sex with the cult leader. She served 2 years in prison for this. Or Ghislaine Maxwell, who recruited young women for Jeffrey Epstein. She's locked up as of now. To these kinds of women, I wholeheartedly say, you bitch! But the thing is, we don't have to like other women just because they're women. Women aren't somehow better than men, like some delusional idiots seem to think, who were disappointed when Margot Robbie had a son and not a daughter. Because a son cannot appreciate having Barbie as a mother.
Shut the fuck up.
Women aren't perfect, but feminism doesn't mean someone is better. It means we all deserve the same rights, and that includes the right to be treated with respect by men and women. If we'd stop tearing each other down, we might actually achieve the solidarity we keep talking about.
Maybe we could be each other's soulmates. And then we could let men be just these great, nice guys to have fun with.
That sounds like a plan.